and I want to bring a little bit of a positive slant to what's happening with COVID today because, yes, we are still in the heart of all the heaviness. And, in our area, I know that the New York City, the big cities are already kind of at their peak and that things are just really heavy and still people are dying at fast rates. Um, but we haven't had our hit yet. The smaller communities, the rural communities, are really not supposed to have their peak for another 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, because it hit the big cities first, which makes complete sense because in bigger cities, the exposure is higher. So it took a little while to trickle into the smaller communities. But there is a lot of positive that I see happening. As a psychologist, I'm constantly talking to people about not only how to stay grounded and how to cope, but how to make use of their discomfort in order to get somewhere in life. And I've really been trying to encourage people during this stay-at-home period and shelter in place, depending on which state you're in, to really hunker down and look within and see what's happening within you, because the words that I used with someone yesterday is we have to keep our frame small enough so that we can really work on our own stuff, but then we have to keep our frame big enough so that we can see what's happening in the world and learn from it as well. And so a few of the things that I'm seeing that are extremely positive, of course, the environment is rebounding. When people aren't there, when people aren't active in the environment, whether it's driving, whether it's pollution, whatever it might be, the world around us rebounds. And so we've seen that all over the world. So there's some positives. But on a personal level, I'm seeing a ton of positive growth and movement. And so this cocooning period, this period that we've had that has forced us within, is really starting to work. Excuse me, from day one of this, I've just encouraged clients to really learn what they're supposed to learn. And I've had a few people just within the last 24 hours who were stuck for so long that are starting to they're bursting with breaking free of old thoughts. And one woman yesterday who said that she's been, well, I shouldn't say said, I've seen her be stuck for about a year and a half in the time that I've worked with her, that she was saying things yesterday that were so profound and so much more grounded, and she was able to see what her gifts were to the world. She was able to see what she was good at, and it was like, all of her long walks. She's been going these super long walks and she can't go to the gym, but all of her long walks have helped her to generate and just be very clean out a lot of stuff, but be very intentional and mindful of what is going on within her. So she's actually able to grasp more of what is good within her. She's starting to pull things together. And I stopped her and I said, okay, the second we get off the phone, since I'm doing everything virtually right now, you have to journal about this. You have to capture all of this because there is good that's happening. But, I've had so many clients. I had another one yesterday that I had worked with last week as well, but another client had these huge breakthroughs as far as her spiritual understanding, her awareness of herself and her place in the world. And so it's this burst of energy that's happening. Now, remember, this stuff is going to ebb and flow. You're going to have these bursts, and then you're still going to sink into the human condition, but then you're going to have some more bursts. But people, because they are doing their work, they're journal writing, they're doing these long walks, they are looking at the world, they're watching videos, they're doing things that they can only do when they're not distracted by other things. They can only do when they are kind of cocooning. The growth and the change is beautiful. And, I think about that little chick that's in the egg. They say basically that if you help a chick out of the egg, you will kill it. Because if you start breaking into the shell before it's ready, it won't be ready. It won't create that endurance on their own. Same thing with the chrysalis. We have a photobomber in the background. That's Mune, for those of you who don't know her. For those of you who like caterpillars, you know that there's a lot of movement that happens within that chrysalis before it can come forth. It's an uncomfortable process. They have to be uncomfortable enough to be able to burst out of whatever it is, whether it's the shell, whether it's the chrysalis. And so you have to think about the fact that there's a lot of positive going on. Now, there's a lot of not so positive going on too. So a lot of people are feeling very cagey, feeling very controlled, feeling like they are being kind of told what to do. And what I would do, what I would encourage, and that's what I'm encouraging clients to do, is look at what is making them uncomfortable and see what they can learn from that. Because the whole situation is that this is such a time to look at each and every bit of our awareness. Now, I'm going to throw this in here as another positive. I have so many people, clients that are telling me that they are now, for the first time, becoming aware of how our individual impact is on the environment. I have clients that are telling me that, wow, they're starting to notice relationship dynamics. They're starting to notice, wow, they don't like their jobs and they really want to change their jobs, or wow, they lost their jobs and they didn't really like them anyway, so they're going to start looking into what they can do differently. I mean, I've got all of this introspection going on right in front of me. And I've said multiple times, and I believe this, that the very best thing for me is watching people evolve. And it's hard for me to watch the people in the world that aren't evolving, and the people that are naysaying and saying, oh, they're fear-based and they're overthinking this thing, and that it's one group or another that's creating the drama about this. Now, this is a worldwide event, and if people can't see this as a worldwide event that is about our awakening, then I'm a little concerned, more than a little concerned. But I think the thing that we have to embrace is to really look at what the positive is within us. I'm getting stuff done that I would not have ever gotten done, because in between clients, if I'm working at home, in between clients, I can go spend 5 minutes cleaning out a drawer, or I can throw a load of laundry in, or, there's stuff that's happening that is helping people get clearer. And, it's that whole idea of how can we use this time to our benefit? And I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to emphasize this again, that the whole idea of evolution changed when basically Darwin realized it wasn't survival of the fittest, it was those who adapt the best. And so it's that idea of, how are you adapting? Are you adapting? Are you resisting adapting? Are you resisting change? Are you resisting your evolution? Because I can tell you that the people that I just mentioned in this video, the people that are doing these sweeping changes in their lives, and they're realizing all these things, they're doing their work. They are sitting down, they're making use of this time to embrace it, and instead of resist it, they're opening up to what it can help them learn. And I'm having some aha moments now too, as far as some things I was planning to do. I'm going to do them differently, as far as work and trainings and things that I was going to be creating. I'm going to be doing them differently because of all this. So it's that whole idea of, how can we embrace the discomfort rather than resist it, and what can we do to make use of it? So there is so much going on in the world. I had a couple clients within the last 24 hours tell me that they've adopted new dogs or puppies, which is fabulous. I loved hearing that. I have people who are out with their families for the first time, as far as walking or playing ball in the yard, or it's been beautiful when I'm a walker, so it's beautiful when I walk and I see all of these families out riding bikes together, or playing in the yard, or digging in the yard, or planting a garden, or playing frisbee, or playing with their dogs. So there's so much cool stuff that's happening as a result of all of this. And people would not have chosen that had we not had the discomfort of having to stay home and be creative for how we get some of our energy out. So, I mean, I've had a lot more people telling me that they are planting gardens right now, both flower gardens and food gardens. I've had a lot of people say that they're working harder on the relationships. I've had some people say that, excuse me, when this is all over, that they're probably not going to be in their relationships because they've seen how unhealthy their partner is, or how mean they are to them, or whatever it is. So there's so much change that is so positive right now. Yes, we still have the financial situation to look at. Yes, we still have this health situation to look at. The concern is very much real, that if we open up the country too soon, this thing is going to resurge. It is going to come back very quickly, and then we're going to be in a worse situation. So we have to pay attention to the current and continued discomforts as well. But we have to look at this from the perspective of, if the universe wants us to hunker down, it's going to make us hunker down, and that's what's happening. It's not the country, it's not the president, it's not whatever making us hunker down. It is the universe's way of trying to get us to evolve, and try to get us to wake up. And, again, I'm seeing some people wake up more. I think there's a lot of people who haven't woken up, and I'm not sure what it's going to take to get them to wake up. But I still think we need to embrace the positives of what is happening with this because, excuse me, that will help us get through this as well. So I would really encourage you to spend some time thinking about what are the positives that are coming out of this for you. What are you noticing happen around you? What are you noticing that is helping things move forward? In the midst of all of this, the last month of us being kind of in shutdown mode, trees burst. It was such an ironic time because everything around us is coming to light, even though we are living in a lot of darkness. And one thing I mentioned to someone a couple weekends ago was the whole idea of, trees and leaves are known to filter the air. So I can't help but think that the trees are going to help this virus kind of filter out, except for the big cities that don't have trees. So we've got lots of different things that we can look at as far as the new growth, the new life that is coming. But we have to treat it kindly. We have to treat ourselves kindly. We have to be very intentional and clear about how we're going to move into this next part of our life. And frankly, nobody knows what that is yet. So I think it's just important that everybody does their work and embraces whatever they can from this. So I would love to hear the positives that you're seeing change both within you, within your families, within the work world, within the people around you, because I do think that there's positive change, and sharing it will help others recognize that as well. So I hope you continue your growth today. Stay safe and stay well, and I will be back soon. Take care.